is already very, very loud inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. The undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers welcome the 5-3 Creighton Blue Jays to Lincoln. A highly anticipated rivalry matchup. The 59th all-time meeting between these two teams. And in fact, it's the road team that's won each of the last 4 meetings. And so, Nick Baugh, it's Creighton coming down to Lincoln trying to return the favor that the Huskers gave them at their place last year. I'm Jake Eisenberg. I want to talk to you, Nick, about this Huskers team, this Blue Jays team, this rivalry, what the energy feels like in this building.
Oh, you can feel it already in Pinnacle Bank Arena. This is an incredible rivalry. It's a game that's fun for the fans, and I'll tell you, Jake, the further your playing days get in that rearview mirror, these are the games you miss the most. These are why you play college basketball. You put in all that work. You can feel the juices in the arena already.
You played in 2 of these games, 1-1. Lost your first, but got revenge and won in the second one. Here are the starting lineups for the 59th installment of this game. And you see Bryce Sanford, we talked about him. He's been shooting lights out. Rick Mast is back for the Huskers as well. And then you've got Josh Dix, an Iowa transfer for the Creighton Blue Jays. Those starting lineups powered by Ram trucks. Nothing stops Ram.
Well, certainly Bryce Sanford and his ability to space the floor has been incredibly important for Nebraska. He's going to be running off screens all game long. Keep an eye on him. And for the Blue Jays, the other Iowa transfer, Josh Dix, has really got to lead the charge, scoring the basketball. He had his career high against Nebraska a year ago in Iowa City with 31 points, so he's very comfortable against the Big Red.
That'll be a fun matchup to watch, those two former teammates going head-to-head today. Off we go in Lincoln, and it's the Blue Jays in their new Navy jerseys. With the opening tip, Nick Graves controls the rock, and there is Josh Dix, the transfer from Iowa.
Got Sam Hoiberg, who started initially on Josh Dix, but Nebraska will switch a lot. The three-point line going to be incredibly important for Creighton.
Graves penetrates, kick out Freeman, under 10 on the shot clock. Freeman against Mast, off the window, a little too strong. And there's Sam Hoiberg with the first rebound of the game.
Good job by Rick Mast to slide his feet, body up Freeman without fouling.
Hoiberg controls. Kick out, Bearcamp Buchtungel. A little bit short, and Harper brings it down.
Now Creighton's going to dare Buchtungel to knock down 3, so that shot's going to be there a lot. You're going to have to pick and choose your times to take it if you're Buchtungel.
Well, Creighton has dominated this rivalry recently, at least if you look at the last quarter century, but each of the last 4 years, it's been much closer.
There's been a lot of road success of late in this rivalry.
Green from the baseline. Freeman got a hand in there. Hoiberg saves it, and it runs over toward the Nebraska bench out of bounds.
Well, certainly rebounding was an area that Fred Hoiberg said he wants his group to continue to grow and improve upon, and that's something Greg McDermott felt like they could have a little success, Jake, crashing the offensive glass. So something to keep an eye on is second chance opportunities for the Blue Jays.
There is 7th-year Nebraska head coach Fred Hoiberg. Dix contested 3. That's off the mark, and Mast gets the rebound.
Well, Buchtungel's got to be a little closer on that. You can't allow Josh Dix to rise up and take a clean look.
Buchtungel down low, kind of pointing out the offense in the perimeter. Mast, a little shimmy shake against Green. Off the glass, no good, and we're still looking for the game's first points.
Yeah, Jason Green's drawing that assignment on Rick Mast.
That's a foul on the floor.
And that's an area that Greg McDermott talked about. There's Coach McDermott. He told us that he feels like whoever wins the transition battle is going to be in great shape to win this game. That was a foul drawn in transition with an early post-up for Owen Freeman.
Foul against Jamarcus Lawrence for the Huskers. Dix gave up the mid-range, and then flips it through to Graves. He struggled shooting to start the year, but it's been much better his last couple of games. Now Graves, step back, lefty stroke, that's off the mark. Sanford knew that it was not off of his hands and let it bounce away.
Well, we've said it. The three-point line going to be so important both ways. Nebraska has been incredible from beyond the arc. They're knocking down 11 threes per game. A huge part of their offense is the three-point shot.
Still 0-0. Over 2 minutes in. Not anymore. From the left side.
And that's the versatility of Mast. He receives the ball screen, gets the switch, and is able to prod his way down for an easy one in the lane. Mast is so versatile, and Fred Hoiberg loves that toy to play with.
And what a difference maker he's been, how he spreads the floor for the Huskers now that he's back on the floor.
Absolutely.
Graves needs help. Hand off Green through a ton of traffic. What a spin off the glass for Jason Green.
He has really improved as an offensive player, doubling his point production. He's improved as a three-point shooter, so you got to respect him out on the three-point line a little bit.
Lawrence from the elbow. There's a lot of players who are in their first game, their first Creighton, Nebraska game. Lawrence is not. Green is someone that grew up with this rivalry in Omaha. They know a thing or two about the energy in this building. Sanford thought about it.
You said it. Thought about it. Josh Dix knew it, too.
It's almost like they know each other well. Another chance for Lawrence. He lets fly from three. Great rebound from Green to get in front of Mast.
But you see what's happening. The ball goes in the post to Mast. A double team is coming, so Rick Mast sprays it out. There's going to be three-point opportunities.
And the Blue Jays are not afraid to shoot over Buchton so far.
A lot of these passes, or these possessions, have been tough, contested shots. Got to move the ball a little bit more if you're Creighton.
Sanford through a double team, got it out to Hoiberg. That's a really off-balance take for Hoiberg. Dix backs it out. Settles down the pace.
Creighton's just been a little stagnant in the half court, settling for contested jump shots.
The steal for Lawrence. A scrum for the ball, out of bounds.
Well, Jake, off we go here. A little bit of a grinder of a start for both Creighton and Nebraska. Jason Green getting downhill through a sea of Huskers, getting one to go off the window. And then Jamarcus Lawrence, little mid-range pull-up. Got a good one in Lincoln.
Welcome back to Lincoln. 4-2. Nebraska's in front early. College Hoops is powered by Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. A little bit of a disjointed start to the 59th installment of this in-state rivalry. Neither team has hit a three-pointer yet. That's a big focal point for each offense. The Huskers, Nick, are 0 for 2 from distance so far.
Something tells me these two teams aren't going to take quiet too long from three. In particular, Nebraska. You see the numbers. They've been excellent from the three-point line, making 11 threes per game. Has been a big part of their offense. And Creighton has found their shooting stroke. They were slow through the first 4 games, but last 4, almost 40%, made 17 threes on Tuesday against Nichols. Really think whoever shoots it better from 3 is probably going to win this game.
Blue Jay basketball out of the timeout. Green into 2 bodies underneath. Husker fans wanted to travel. Fedor Zugic, his first minutes. A little Euro step in the lane, couldn't get it to fall. Offensive rebound, extra possession for Creighton.
If Trout catches that clean, he probably's got an open 3, but he bobbles it.
Now Trout catches, shoots. Another chance for an offensive rebound. That is some scrappy rebounding from Creighton. It doesn't fall their way, but they certainly made it tough.
Yeah, again, Creighton's going to crash that offensive glass.
Sanford a couple of steps from behind the line.
In transition, you have to find Bryce Sanford and Rick Mast. They love those trailer threes.
Graves for an answer. And a rebound, Nebraska. Now they've got some momentum going their way. Would not be surprised to see that ball funnel back toward Bryce Sanford.
They're going to run him off some screens.
Mast was looking underneath for Lawrence. Hand off Frager. Good take underneath, too strong. And Zugic the rebound. Deep try for Trout. And that's no good. So the Blue Jays have not found their shooting stroke. 0 for 5 from behind the arc so far. And now Lawrence from the corner. He hits. And another eruption from all the red in Lincoln.
Lawrence has really been key for Nebraska's offense. Was the point guard 2 years ago, was at Rhode Island a year ago, and back here in Lincoln playing the best basketball of his career.
He knows a thing or two about this game. Zugic got tied up with Sanford.
Yeah, it knows a thing or two about this rivalry. There's no doubt about it. And knows a thing or two about this system. How nice is it to transfer back? You know all the terminology. You know the defensive system. You know the play calls. You know it all. That has allowed Jamarcus Lawrence to obviously fit right back in and hit the ground running. He's improved as a shooter. And just with age, I think he's just rounded out his game. Just been really good for Fred Hoiberg.
The last time that Lawrence was here, the Huskers made the NCAA tournament for the first time in a decade.
That's great scouting right there from Nebraska, forcing a 5-second call. That was such clean switching and denying where Creighton was trying to go with the rock.
First minutes for Cale Jacobson, who controls the basketball, his 4th year at Nebraska. Prager gets a little help from Buchtunjo, who now controls out high against Green. Buchtunjo, physical, spinning left, spinning right, spinning up, got fouled.
I'll tell you what, Jake, you allow anybody that much space and to take 10 or 11 dribbles, they're going to get to where they want to on the floor. If Buchtunjo, great patience and strength to just slowly, methodically get right in front of that rim and draw a foul.
If you're Jason Green, you're trying to figure out, is he going left? Is he going right?
Yeah. Well, and again, they showed Creighton was going to come with a double team on Rink Mass, but they're going to play Bjerke Buchtunjo one-on-one in the post. And so Buchtunjo, if he's going to have that much space, he's going to be able to get to his spots.
6'10" sophomore from Turkey, Bjerke Buchtunjo.
For Creighton, you need some better offensive possessions. The ball has gotten stuck on one side of the floor, not been near enough ball reversals. Have much better offensive execution if you're the Blue Jays, because just like that, you're in a 10-point hole and the crowd's going to let you hear it.
Every made basket for Nebraska, and this volume is going to ratchet up just a little bit more. Every empty possession for Creighton, that volume is going to ratchet up a little bit more. Davis swings it around through Zugic. Green lets fly. That's way too strong. Buchtunjo pulls it down. Lawrence for Buchtunjo. Blocked by Green.
Wow, what a rotation from Jason Green.
Extra pass. Zugic in the corner. That's off the backcourt.
Boy. Not even close.
Now Creighton has not been able to hit anything. 0 for 8 from distance. Prager gets some space. He connects. Louder and louder and louder with every bucket.
The Lincoln kid, Braden Prager, playing in his very first I-80 rivalry. A little pin down, never lacks for confidence. Strokes it, forcing Greg McDermott to call timeout. It's all Nebraska early in this one. Welcome back to Lincoln, where Nebraska is on an 11-0 run, and he knew it was a matter of time before the threes started falling. Bryce Sanford in transition knocks one down. Too much space for Jamarcus Lawrence, drilling one right in front of the Creighton bench, and Braden Prager, the redshirt freshman, drilling it, forcing a timeout. Nebraska in a groove offensively. Excellent start, got the crowd in this thing at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yeah, they're 3 for 5 from behind the arc. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays are 0 for 8, and the looks haven't been especially good.
No. Haven't been great looks, and the shots haven't been particularly close either.
So the Blue Jays look for some fluidity on offense. They have not scored for nearly 5 minutes. Kick out for Davis, 7 on the shot clock. He needs help. Over to Dix on the wing. Baseline jumper. That's no good. Buchtunjo on the rebound.
Boy, big-time defensive possession. Multiple guys flying around, helping and recovering. That was really good from Nebraska.
Hoiberg directs traffic. Now Buchtunjo says go that way. Prager around him, pop, and a block from Karen Conell.
Greg McDermott going deep into that bench, trying to find some spark.
Trout, another try. This time he connects.
Nebraska kid, Isaac Trout from Grand Island. That's what he does. 31 of his 35 field goal attempts on the season are threes. He may be tall, but he is a catch-and-shoot three-point guy. Getting a trailer to go down.
He had 3 three-pointers on Tuesday against Nichols. Season high 23 minutes in that 20-point win for Creighton. So the Blue Jays stop the run. Nebraska still up by 10. Jared Garcia, too strong, and Trout the rebound.
Get baited into taking that one, going under the ball screen on Jared Garcia. I'll tell you, Trout can really shoot it. Once he gets one to go down, you got to keep an eye on number 41 in Navy.
Schwartz from the wing, and that's off the mark. And so even though the Blue Jays have hit 1, they have still now missed 9. Garcia with another try, and that's too strong. Now, you said it, the key to this game is going to be which team can find their shooting stroke. Early on, that's been Nebraska, but now both teams have got a little bit more cold. Dix takes some contact, no whistle until now. And it's out of bounds on the Blue Jays. Now, Dix is the leading scorer for the Blue Jays. He has not scored tonight. The Blue Jays only scored 5 points. Green has a pair. Trout has the other 3. It's a balanced attack, but when nobody's scoring, well, it's still balanced, just not in a good one.
No, again, keep in mind, Jackson McAndrew, the sophomore forward, out for the season. He made 69 threes a year ago, which was a freshman record for Creighton. So you're down a pretty good player, but certainly a slow start for the starting 5 for the Blue Jays.
Green kick out. Graves gets a guy in the air. Let's fly. That's no good, but an offensive rebound. Schwartz a little pump.
Talented kid. Creighton staff said he might be the most talented player on the team. It's just consistency that's held him back.
Hoiberg off the mark. Offensive rebound, Bjuntunjo.
Hoiberg's capable, but that's not where he's at his best. This is where he's at his best, driving and creating.
And he loses it out of bounds. It's Creighton basketball.
Well, for Nebraska, they're a good three-point shooting team, but they have excellent three-point shooters and guys that aren't as good. And over the last handful of minutes, it's been the guys that aren't as electric three-point shooters taking shots, which is a win for the Blue Jays. But you got Price Sanford back on the floor, Rick Mass back on the floor. And so offensively, you'd imagine there's a little more firepower, and they'll play through Max.
So far, I think you'll say for both teams, it's been a lot of all or nothing. It was all Nebraska. Now they haven't scored for nearly 3 minutes. And the Blue Jays have found a little bit more rhythm. Right within an 8-point game. Schwartz out of North Carolina. There's a little thing or two about rivalries. Duke, North Carolina. That's his frame of reference for this Creighton-Nebraska showdown. And now Schwartz in the corner. Gave it up with Mass flying in. Too strong in the baseline jumper.
Have you seen how Nebraska will leap their feet contesting threes?
Well, Lawrence was looking for Mass, who had no idea the ball was headed his way. He got pushed all the same.
Pretty good rim run from Rick Mass, who had a nice break there. And first opportunity he gets, he really sprints the floor and draws a foul with an early post-up. Got to reestablish Mast here. There's a mismatch with Graves on him.
Now, Graves is the one who fouled him initially. Mast misses. Offensive rebound for Nebraska. And now Mast down low, goes up against Conan. Doesn't get the bucket, but he's headed to the free throw line.
You know, Jake, I don't think enough people have talked about the amazing journey that Rick Mast has been on. This is a guy that had major knee surgery a year ago, missed the entire year, really didn't pick up a basketball until about May. And for him to hit the ground running like he has, shooting the ball, no rust, in great shape, is a testament to how hard he's worked in terms of his rehab. Being around the program, it was amazing. Every time I came to shoot-arounds to practice, he was always in the corner doing rehab, different things, working on that knee. It's amazing how he has started this season.
He began his collegiate career in Bradley, transferred to Nebraska. He was an important piece of the team that made the NCAA tournament, but then last year the injury. And now Nebraska's trying to get back to the tournament and maybe, just maybe at long last, win a game in the big dance.
Saved an open three breaking up that skip pass in the corner. Jamarcus Lawrence looking like a free safety. And Owen Freeman back into the game. He is coming off knee surgery, torn meniscus in the summer. You can tell he's not quite 100% yet, Jake. But he's got to find a way to put his fingerprints on this game. He's going to get double teamed if he gets conventional post-ups, but still got to find a way to score.
Pump fake Zugic underneath. Found some space in the paint. He could have taken that, but gave it up to Freeman. Got it back anyway and finished. Maybe not the way he drew it up, but it worked all the same.
Well, that's one Zugic needed to go up and lay it in, but luckily the ball got popped back to him.
Sanford nearly triggered. Takes great touch off the glass for Bryce Sanford.
That's where he has impressed me. You run him off the line, he's very capable of driving and finishing at the basket.
Deep try, Swartz. Freeman gets the offensive rebound. Graves picks up the loose ball. In and out, rebound Jacobson. Not a whole lot of time for anyone to catch their breath.
In transition, you got to find these shooters if you're Creighton. Sanford, Lawrence, and Mast, and Frager as well.
That was nearly logo deep for Lawrence. Graves gave up that open look. Maybe he didn't realize how open he was.
It's that baseline double team that Nebraska will always come with on penetration.
And now whip out. Green from the corner. And that's too strong.
It's that shot that's available, though. It's the skip pass opposite side of the floor threes that are there for the Blue Jays. Haven't gotten enough of those, but Nebraska's been disruptive and flown around as well.
Foul against Austin Schwartz against Bryce Sanford, 19-9. Nebraska has held steady. They've got a 10-point lead with a little over 7 minutes to play in the half. Creighton and Nebraska, and right now it's Nebraska that has a game that's been played annually since 1977, and this year being played for the 59th time. This in-state showdown, Creighton and Nebraska, and right now it's Nebraska that has a 10-point lead with a little over 7 minutes left to play in the first half. The road team, Nick, has won each of the last 4 meetings between these two teams. That's a really interesting, smaller piece of this rivalry where no one's been able to defend their home floor.
And I think this rivalry has evolved as Creighton has changed conferences. Going from the Valley to the Big East changes the complexion of things a little bit. But you're right, the road team has enjoyed a lot of success. It's good for Nebraska to get off to a good start to get the crowd into the game, which is what has happened here this afternoon.
Good feed down low to Frager. Kick out Jacobson. Just missed the 3. That would have electrified this big red crowd for sure.
It's a good, clean look. Nice play from Frager, being under control, setting his feet and finding Jacobson.
Now, for a moment, it looked like the Huskers couldn't miss, but now they've gone cold. They're 1 for their last 8 from the floor. And that's a foul on the floor.
You can tell Greg McDermott has already played 10 guys. I mean, he's just searching. He's searching for the right combination. And that's one of the differences between the two teams right now. When you watch Nebraska play, they know their rotations in terms of their lineups. They also have a crystal clear identity of what each team's trying to do, or each side of the ball, what they're trying to accomplish. Creighton's still finding that a little bit. They're playing way off. Cale Jacobson.
Lawrence underneath. Can't finish. And there's Blake Harper with the rebound.
He's pretty good. Raking it and taking it. The Howard transfer.
Graves, an open look. And that's a silencer.
But that's all because of Freeman's running the floor and posting up. That sucked in the help side defense. And you get the skip pass 3 from the Blue Jays. See, they're playing way off Jacobson, daring him to make some shots.
Instead, Lawrence whips it. Frager, pump fake against Dix, goes up strong, doesn't get the bucket, but he's headed to the line.
Sure, great for Frager is very good athlete. Gets run off the three-point line, takes it through the body of Blake Harper. But Nebraska's going to have to solve the riddle that is Creighton is just playing off certain guys. They're not guarding Buchtengel out on the three-point line, not guarding Jacobson, not really guarding Hoiberg out there, and that's somewhat disjoining some of the offensive sets. I'd turn those guys into screeners, Jake. Have Cale Jacobson and Buchengel, those guys set screens for Sanford and Rink Mast and Jamarcus Lawrence because the help is going to be off the body of those guys, and they're going to be able to come off free for open looks.
Rager goes 1 for 2 from the line. Does it surprise you that Sanford's only attempted 1 3 so far?
Well, he's the focal point of the scouting report. Price Sanford's, there's a fine line between staying patient and being passive. I think he's got to look to be a little bit more aggressive to find his own shot.
Freeman screens for Graves. Harper in the corner. And that's no good.
That's a good shot.
Are really struggling for 3. Miscommunication. And Lawrence shovels it out of bounds.
It feels like Nebraska's had a window here as Creighton's been ice cold to really extend this lead and just haven't been able to score it well enough.
Now, the fact that the Blue Jays are 2 for 15 from behind the arc, and yet they're only down by 8. That's a mini win for Greg McDermott right now. Trout's at one of the threes. Graves has a 3. But nobody else. Diggs, the leading scorer, hasn't put one in the hoop yet. And now Graves contested, misses. He got fouled, and that'll be 3 foul shots for Nick Graves.
Good ball reversal as that ball got swung from the left side of the floor to the right side of the floor. It looked like Frager was in great position and under control. Take another look at it. They got the hand of Nick Graves, and the officials called it. So a mental mistake for the redshirt freshman.
So 3 foul shots for Graves, junior out of Durham, North Carolina. Crossed 1,000 career points on Tuesday against Nichols. Of course, most of those at Charlotte, where he transferred from.
Well, and this was an area he was excellent when he was at Charlotte. He was 16th nationally in free throw attempts a game. Had a nice job of getting fouled. But I don't think he's Creighton's best player, but I could make a case that he's Creighton's most important player. He's really got to settle in and play at a high level for this team to maximize.
Graves hits 2 of the 3. He is the Blue Jays' leading scorer so far today.
Go back to Rink Mast if you can, if you're Nebraska.
He's already bodying down low with Jason Green. Under 5 in the first half.
At the switch, Nick Graves on Rink Mast.
Rager from the corner. Dix gets high. Mast is taller. And now Sanford, quick trigger. That's offline, but Mast is bigger than anyone. He's true to his name. Lawrence lets fly. Open look, he cans it.
What a sequence from Rink Mast. Just a man amongst boys. 2 big offensive rebounds, and Lawrence drills the kick-out 3.
And you give him chance after chance after chance. This is a Cornhusker team that's going to bury you from distance.
Well, look at Sam Hoiberg fly around.
Now Trout misses, and Hoiberg flies around to get the loose ball. This is a possession where Nebraska can really take control toward the tail end of the half. Miscommunication, and Sanford throws it to the Blue Jays bench. That takes us to a timeout. Under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Nebraska still in front, 23-14. 59th installment of this in-state rivalry. Still a lot of time left. Fox College Hoops Friday delivers a huge SEC Big East matchup next week. Texas battles solo ball and 5th-ranked UConn. It all begins Friday night at 8 Eastern on Fox. And coming up on the Ram Trucks halftime report, take a look at our game. Mike Hill, Casey Jacobson, Seth Davis will break down this matchup so far. Nebraska and Creighton. Also a little look ahead. Villanova and number 3 Michigan, number 22 Indiana. They're certainly flying high in Bloomington right now. They take on Penn State.
Very important close to this half both ways. Nebraska's really been excellent on this end of the floor, but Creighton's just hanging around enough here. We'll see what the complexion of this thing feels like heading into halftime.
9-point game right now. Trout from the corner. And the shooting woes continue for Creighton. 2 for 17 now from distance.
It's a good look for a good shooter, but a lot of three-point attempts. That's kind of been par for the course for Creighton against Nebraska over the years, but already 17 long-range bombs.
And this is a Creighton team that was 17 for 34 on Tuesday against Nicholas. There's Mask stepping behind the line and knocking it down.
Just a little screening action off of him, and he steps out and knocks down the three. Just such a versatile player.
7 points, 3 rebounds for Rink Mask in the first half. Schwartz in the air. Trout from the other corner. That one also misses. And so Trout, who hit one of his first looks, has gone cold since. And now Hoiberg up and in from the left side.
Nice little surge. Sam Hoiberg picks and chooses his spots. Playing to his strengths. Gets a layup in the open floor.
6-0 run over the last 90 seconds for Nebraska. And now Big Red is on its feet. Schwartz quiets him and sits him down. And the Blue Jays finally hit a three.
They're not going to stop shooting him. They're going to keep getting him up. So, Nebraska's got to stay dialed in. And Sanford off the stagger. Here comes Mass the other direction.
Just over 2 minutes left in the first half. Huskers up by 9. Mass takes, kick out Hoiberg from the corner. Swish! Sam Hoiberg, the coach's son from Lincoln, has everybody on their feet once again.
Once again, though, Rink Mass so versatile. How about your 5-man penetrate and kick to your point guard?
And now Graves tangled up. He's going back to the free throw line.
And Mass has shown you a little bit of everything. He's come off a ball screen, him handling it and scoring it. He's gotten rebounds and kickouts. First look at Sam Hoiberg, little change of speed. He's got the advantage on the slower-footed Isaac Trout. And then that's your 5-man penetrating and kicking it to your point guard. Just Rink Mass is showing you everything in his game right now.
That's not really how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be the other way around, right?
And I've long said Sam Hoiberg is a much better shooter than his numbers have shown. And just doesn't really hunt shots. The teams are going to dare him to knock down long-range triples. He's going to have to step up and knock a few down.
Six points for Graves. That leads Creighton. Make it 7 with another free throw.
I feel like Rink Mass just kind of has it rolling right now. He's got to be involved in this action.
Pump fake, looking down low. Buchtenschel underneath, loses control, and there's a foul.
Just a simple pick and pop, but because you're such a dangerous shooter like Rink Mass is, you got to run him off the three-point line. And he's got the ability to put it on the deck and find Birgit Buchtenschel. Another amazingly versatile play from the 5-man Rink Mass.
Owen Freeman gets called for the foul. Only 2 points for Buchtenschel in the first half, but he's got 7 rebounds. Nearly another offensive rebound for Nebraska as a team. Instead it falls to Schwartz. Dix backs it out. Davis gives it up. Dix double team in the corner. Schwartz contested. That's off the back iron. Buchtenschel goes for the rebound. Freeman makes contact. That's another foul on Owen Freeman. Nebraska basketball.
2 on Freeman. 2 cheap ones. And Josh Dix has to find a way to get involved in this game. Only 2 field goal attempts. Again, he's finding his way in this new system, but he's got to put his foot on the gas and be a little more aggressive to make plays.
That's certainly a far cry from what Josh Dix did against Nebraska last year. That's when he was at Iowa. He had a career-high 31 points against the Huskers last year. And no doubt they remember that.
Yeah, and again, it's one thing if you haven't scored, but you've only taken 2 shots. Now, Sam Hoiberg and the rotating Huskers have done a nice job being on him on the catch, but he's got to find a way to get himself in the offensive flow.
The And now the Huskers are starting to pull away.
Yes.
Blue Jays poor shooting. It's been about, can Nebraska take advantage of that and really create some separation? And they have. Now up by 14. Huskers' largest lead of the game. Green needs help. Sanford takes it away, picked his pocket. That entire possession defensively, emblematic of what we've seen all half of Nebraska.
Nebraska's been on time, on target in their rotations. Double team's got to come here. There comes with Jason Green.
Mass drew 3 and nearly made a shot anyway. Out of bounds off Creighton.
Creighton early that was getting a lot of offensive rebounds, but Nebraska has really in the final 10 minutes here done a better job collecting second chance opportunities.
Now, this has been an impressive close of the half from Nebraska and Fred Hoiberg's group. Just over 30 seconds left in the first half. Hoiberg crosses over right around Schwartz, and he takes the contact to go to the free throw line.
But it shows you there's two great shooters coming off pin downs on both sides of Hoiberg. You got Bryce Sanford going to the right corner. You got Mass coming up top, and there's so much room for Hoiberg to go explore. It's all there because of the 2 3-point shooters spacing that help defense.
Mass comes out for the final 24 seconds. And Braden Frager's back in with Cale Jacobson as well. Hoiberg misses both. Those are some crucial misses toward the end of the half.
7 of 12 from the line are the Huskers.
The Blue Jays have Davis in control.
Josh Dix can get a shot here.
10 seconds left in the half. Blue Jays trying to end it on a higher note. It's been almost all Nebraska. Davis right at the buzzer. Rainbow 3. It's too short. And the Blue Jays had shot poorly all throughout the half. They finished the half with another miss from 3-point range, and Nebraska has taken command of this game. A 33-19 halftime lead.
Three-point line was going to be important. Blue Jays are cold, and Rink Mast, I think, was just the best player on the floor, making everything happen for Nebraska.
For the Huskers, 6 for 15 from behind the arc in the first half. The Blue Jays, 3 for 21. A lot of questions that need answers for Greg McDermott's group. It's the Huskers up by 14. Back to the arena for stats and analysis right after this break. Welcome back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. It's the I-80 rivalry, Creighton and Nebraska, and it's the Cornhuskers with a 33-19 lead after the first half. Thanks for joining us courtside today with Nick Baugh. I'm Jake Eisenberg. We saw a little bit of a disjointed first half from both teams. Very poor shooting from the Creighton side. From the Nebraska side, Rink Mast did a little bit of everything. He was a big focal point.
He stabilized the offense throughout that first half for Nebraska. His versatility was the difference in the first half. And you know he can shoot the ball, he can pass it. He's really improved, I think, at being able to put the ball on the deck a couple of times. He really did a little bit of everything. A couple of big offensive rebounds, kick-out threes really were important. But his approach, I think, in giving Nebraska a guy that they can establish and play off of has really made a big difference for the Huskers when they've gotten bogged down into the half court. But you look at the numbers, and just a really poor shooting half for Creighton. 19%, 3 of 21 from beyond the arc, and the rebounding column was going to be important, and Nebraska was able to control the glass for most of that half.
Well, when you miss that many shots, you'd expect your opponent to have that many more rebounds, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, that this game in some ways was going to come down to three-point shooting. We knew that Creighton was going to take a ton of threes. Only 4 times in school history, they've attempted at least 40 three-pointers in a game. Each of the last 3 times they've played Nebraska, they've cleared that threshold, and they're on pace to do so again today.
Again, I want everybody to let that graphic really sink in. 4 times in school history, 40 or more threes. 3 of those are the last 3 meetings against Nebraska, and they're well on pace in that regard. A lot of it is how Nebraska is built. Nebraska statistically gives up the second most amount of 3-point field goal attempts a game in the country. They flood to the ball, they take away, they paint, they give up threes. So in a large part, this game is make or miss for Creighton, and so far they have missed shots. What I think will be interesting is, can Creighton get a little bit of diversity in their offense? I think you need to start pushing the ball, see if you can't get in the open floor, because when Nebraska set that half-court defense, Creighton's had a really hard time. So try and get some shots at the rim in transition if you're the Blue Jays.
A 14-point lead for the Huskers to start the second half. The Huskers are undefeated this year, 8-0, their best start in nearly 50 years. Last time they started off this good, 1977. Coincidentally, the first time that this rivalry became an annual tradition.
Looks like Jason Green is down after an amazing sequence of movement from Bryce Sanford.
And Sanford shook loose and got the layup off the glass.
Hopefully Jason Green is okay. Flew into that first row as the urgency to try to run Bryce Sanford off the 3-point line. But again, I said it in the first half. That's the thing that has impressed me about the evolution of Bryce Sanford's game. If you run him off the 3-point line, he is capable of getting into the paint and scoring.
Now, Sanford is a 3-point threat. There's no doubt about that. Career 38% 3-point shooter, and was massive off the bench against poor Iowa last year. He has evolved in his first season as a Husker. There's Buchungel getting a hand in. Strum on the deck.
We got Nick Graves with the push. Just another disjointed offensive possession for Creighton. That's something you and I were talking about. You can tell that the chemistry is still a work in progress for Creighton offensively.
It's something that Greg McDermott talked a little bit about after the Blue Jays win over Nichols, how they haven't necessarily been able to find the cohesiveness. Hudson Greer isn't playing. He's still dealing with an injury. Jackson McAndrew was a big piece for this Blue Jays team. He's now out as well, and so there have been so many different lineups that it's hard to find the fluidity and take that big step forward as a group.
I think you can see it on the floor. Just not a ton of cohesion. Even Owen Freeman missed a lot of the fall coming off that torn meniscus. Trying to get all 5 guys on the same page. Another good defensive possession.
Graves right at the end of the shot clock. That's no good, and so the second half starts the way the first half ended for the Blue Jays, with a miss from distance.
Nebraska is just building that wall and not allowing Creighton to get into the paint at all. And Creighton trying to operate more in the middle of the floor early on in the second half, because when the ball's on a side, the trap's going to come if it goes into the post or a drive to the baseline.
Load for Harper. He goes against Sanford. Spin in the ray, and he takes the contact.
That's what Blake Harper does best. He's kind of an ISO scorer. It's what he was at Howard. 5 30-point games. He was the player of the year in the MEAC. And Creighton's a ball movement team, but you got to kind of play to your player's strengths, and every once in a while you got to let Blake Harper just get in isolation and attack.
There's Jackson McAndrew. He's been out with a foot injury since Thanksgiving. He's now out for the season.
Yeah, again, 69 made threes last season as a freshman. That broke Kyle Korver's record. That guy can really shoot it. So it's a big piece that's not available.
Harper missed the first, and he makes the second. Well, there were only 2 players in the country last year, Nick, that were their conference player of the year and the conference rookie of the year. And that is Blake Harper and Cooper Flagg.
Pretty good company.
How about that duo?
I love that stat.
Yeah. 15-point lead for Nebraska. And there's Rink Mass picking up right where he left off, doing a little bit of everything.
Little face-up, 18-footer. Do it all, Rink Mass.
He has had an impressive game so far. Swing through to Graves. Gets a screen from Freeman. Up through contact, but he got fouled. And we're starting to see Creighton try to penetrate a little bit more.
Yeah, there's just going to be a balance. Ultimately, you want to take your open threes, but you got to explore some dribble penetration to try and make some things happen. Good job by Owen Freeman to seal off Rink Mass and to help just a little late. And Nick Graves, who's a master at drawing fouls, gets back to the line.
That's already 3 team fouls for Nebraska in this half. They had 4 all of the first half.
Again, life after Kalkbrenner for the Blue Jays has been rough on the defensive end of the floor. 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, the National Defensive Player of the Year a year ago. Not having the big fella inside erasing things makes a difference.
And that is not something that you can replace. Not with one person, not in the aggregate.
Wow.
That was right. This has been Rink Mast's day.
He had a two-way go. He could either come off to the block to post up or come off a pin down for a 3. He chooses correctly and knocks down the 3.
Does Creighton have an answer? Nope. Buchtenjel takes it away. Green missed on the layup attempt. Nebraska's up by 18, their largest lead of the game. Sanford nearly got tangled up. Hoiberg backs it out. Underneath Freeman, reverse layup for Sam Hoiberg.
All because of the cross match. Dix was on mast. It got everything messy. Hoiberg once again identifies the mismatch and drives it and lays it in.
Huskers up by 20. And Pinnacle Bank Arena is starting to get much, much louder. Miscommunication. Hoiberg takes it away.
Good decision.
Mast in transition. Just missed. That would have blown the roof off this place.
Was ready to explode.
Harper stonewalled. Looking for the opening. There's that crash in the corner. It's been a tough day for Dix. Gives it up to Graves with under 10 on the shot clock. Tough shot for Graves. Rebound Nebraska. Lawrence around Mast.
At the switch.
Looking underneath for Mast. Freeman got the ball. Mast was underneath.
Well, it's all Rink Mast early on for Nebraska. Look at the two-way go. He can come off the shuffle cut to the baseline. Instead, he comes off the pin down for the long-range triple. And if you're late, he's going to make you pay. Rink Mast, lighten it up here in Lincoln.
College Hoops is powered by Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. And very little has stopped Nebraska so far today. The Huskers are up by 20 early on in the second half. 42-22 inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. And the big question for the Blue Jays, Nick, has been where are the points going to come from? They have a very balanced attack. Everyone's around 10 points per game. But so far today, Josh Dix, 0. Owen Freeman, 0. Nick Graves has 9, but 6 of those are from the free throw line.
Yeah, it's Josh Dix to me is the guy that has to get involved in this game. There's a fine line between selfishness and responsibility. It's his responsibility to be aggressive to score the ball. He's just not been aggressive enough. Certainly you got to tip your cap to Sam Hoiberg and the Nebraska defense, but one way or another, you got to find a way to get involved.
Hoiberg, step back, 3. It is all Nebraska in Lincoln today. 45-22.
Darren Sam Hoiberg to knock down some shots, and he's knocked down 2 big ones. Just a glue guy through and through.
Double digits for Hoiberg. He's got 10.
Good closeout by Hoiberg on Dix, not allowing him to rise up.
Now Dix lets it fly, and he connects. And maybe that unlocks the Creighton offense.
Again, you got to at least go down swinging if you're Josh Dix. That'd be my advice to him. And just, you got to try to step in the middle of the ring and throw some punches. But a nice flare screen set to free him up.
The Blue Jays were 3 for 21 from behind the arc in the first half. Now 1 for 2. That's a much better percentage early on in the second half. Buchtenjel underneath, and he finishes at the rim.
And Creighton tried to switch screens, and it's getting them just really disjointed with some bad matchups.
6 points for Buchton. He's also tied a career high with 9 rebounds today.
Look at Hoiberg blow up the play, try to get a little zipper cut to get Dix the ball.
Davis gives it up. Hoiberg knocks it away.
So Ty Davis maybe needs to just look at the rim. He's right at the hoop. Maybe just turn and shoot that little floater. With more activity from Nebraska. Look at him help and recover on that reversal. You stop the penetration, and then Sam Hoiberg saves an open 3 with his active hands.
Whistle away from the ball. It's against Jamarcus Lawrence. That's his 3rd. Another inbound for Creighton. Trout catches in the corner. Prager ties him up. Trout takes strong loose ball, and Nebraska has it.
A lot of traffic to try and finish through. Nebraska's help defense has been there all night.
Jacobson to Prager. Hoiberg, another 3 try. That one missed. A little heat check opportunity for Sam Hoiberg. Swartz got some space. Jacobson poked it loose. A turnover from Creighton.
Just active hands all game long from Nebraska. In the passing lanes, making things tough.
As frustrating as the Blue Jays offense has been today, the Nebraska defense has been impressive. Look out.
Saved an open 3, too.
Got to be happy if you're Fred Hoiberg right now. His team is in command of a rivalry game and looking for a 9-0 start. They've won 12 straight going back to last year.
This has been impressive from Nebraska.
Jacobson lowers the shoulder, spins, lefty pop, off the glass, battle for the loose ball, and it goes Creighton's way.
Well, with no rink mass on the floor, Cale Jacobson can kind of run that point guard spot. You also run Price Sanford off a bunch of screens, but here, see if you can't manufacture something for Josh Dix to get him in an aggressive mindset.
Sanford's right there, taking the ball away from his former Iowa teammate. Those two have been matched up all afternoon.
Yeah, just fighting through a screen, just saying, I'm going to be tough and not get picked and force a turnover.
Miscommunication. Now, 3 of the players on the floor today, Price Sanford, Josh Dix, Owen Freeman, they were all at Iowa last year under Fran McCaffrey. Each of them transferred. Freeman and Dix, now Blue Jays. Sanford came to the Huskers. He was a player that Fred Hoiberg really wanted when he was coming out of high school. He was a top recruit for the Huskers, but he went to Iowa to play with his older brother Peyton. And then once Price entered the transfer portal this past offseason, well, Fred Hoiberg made him a top priority.
So Mr. Basketball in the state of Iowa in 2023. It's finally Josh Dix. Aggressive drive to the basket there. But it all happened in the middle of the floor, so that trap can't come and get you. You set a ball screen right at the top of the key. You're able to hit that lane line and get to the free throw line.
Well, you've explained it really well what Nebraska's defense is primed to do and is trying to do to take away and give at times some three-point opportunities.
Yeah, they're going to funnel things to the baseline and come and trap hard and rotate towards the ball. So they're willing to give up some weak side three-point opportunities that they can go contest. But if you try to just play on one side of the floor and let Nebraska load up, they're going to make life tough on you.
Good ball movement from Nebraska. Jacobson lost the handle. Here comes Swartz. Takes it himself and finishes.
That was the best defensive possession of the game for Nebraska. In help gaps, recovering, and you land into a turnover and a run out.
Greg McDermott said one of the keys to today's game was going to be winning the transition battle. That has not happened until really that last possession.
And that's got to be priority number one if you're going to chip away at this thing. Wow.
Bucket and the foul. Braden Frager out of Lincoln. Hitting the deck, getting the points, and taking control for Nebraska.
The redshirt freshman getting downhill. Just a little snake dribble. He's left-handed. He gets to that strong hand. Chance for three to Hardway on the other side.
On Saturday, Fox Primetime Hoops returns with a bang. Third-ranked Michigan and Maryland in a Big Ten showdown. That's Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox. All right, when this game tipped off, Nick, you were talking about how when you get further and further away from games like this, these are the ones that you miss the most. Well, let's have a fun little flashback and look at Nick Baugh on the floor, knocking it down.
Goodness, 2007. We need to get some HD footage to maybe think that look quite so old. I got an enormous jersey and get all the cool knocked out of me here.
I don't think HD footage is going to make those shorts look any less baggy.
You're right. You're right. There's no doubt about it. It was a rivalry game that was so much fun to play in. And those are the ones you miss the most, as we've discussed. But 1-1 in my career in the I-80 rivalry. Boy, it has been all Nebraska here this afternoon.
Huskers now up by 21 after Frager finishes the three-point play. Certainly a game that he's grown up watching, thinking about, dreaming about, now becoming a reality. His redshirt freshman season as a Husker.
I think that makes a difference. I mean, certainly Trout and Green grew up in Nebraska. They understand it. But Cale Jacobson, Sam Hoiberg, Braden Frager, all guys that played high school basketball here in the state and understand this rivalry.
Swartz from the free throw line. He knocks it down. That's a pretty bucket for Austin Swartz. He's one of the guys on the Creighton side that doesn't necessarily have the same kind of understanding for this rivalry. He grew up in North Carolina, but he was saying the other day after the Blue Jays beat Nichols that from what he had heard, if it was anything like Duke, North Carolina, he knew he was going to be in for a show. Good save from Swartz underneath. Corner on Trout. Swung through Conan, back to Dix. Wild pass, and that's out of bounds into the Blue Jay bench.
More active hands for Nebraska. Something that Nebraska assistant coach Nate Linzer was all over his guys about in shoot around this morning at about 11:30, saying you got to have active hands. You have to make these skip passes a little bit higher. If they're direct line skip passes, you're going to be in big trouble. They got that message that activity has been really good.
Now they forced 9 turnovers in this game. The Huskers had. Lawrence picks up his dribble. Buchengel got a little hug there from Swartz. And now Hoyer. Strong take baseline. Kick out. Opposite corner. Lawrence missed it. Davis picks it up and runs the floor. That's a nice lefty finish from Ty Davis.
Again, Creighton's just not gotten enough of the rebound outlet run situations. That has to be the top priority here.
I think the expectation was to see a lot more of that.
Yes.
If you're Greg McDermott. Foul underneath, and it's against Creighton.
Number 9, Ty Davis, his first foul.
First foul for Ty Davis. And the fourth for the Blue Jays in this half.
And now Rink Mass back in the game. So when Rink Mass has been on the floor, the offense has just been dramatically more crisp.
Mass was calling for it. Hoiberg thought about it, gave to Lawrence instead. Buchengel backs down Trout. 2 spins, 3 spins, up and under, couldn't finish. Second chance, no good, but contact underneath. Tenacity from Berke Buchtenjo.
Very similar to early on in the game when he had all day in a post-up situation with no dig, no help coming at all. Nice little step through, and a good job to stick with it and draw the foul.
Career high 11 rebounds now for Berke Buchtenjo.
Well, that's the thing. We've talked about Creighton still trying to find themselves. Nebraska has clearly defined roles. Everybody knows what their job is for the Huskers, and they also have a clear understanding of what they're trying to do. What does a good possession look like offensively and defensively? Just feel that with Nebraska when you watch them play. I always think that role definition and shot selection are the 2 hardest things to teach, and they're probably the 2 most important things.
Zujic underneath. And there's Trout tied up in the corner. He steps out of bounds. That is the Nebraska defense to a T.
Fighting the dribble and then able to stick to the shooters on the perimeter.
Now the Husker fans want to tackle. They're not going to get it.
And Greg McDermott was potentially thinking about challenging it.
A little press from Creighton. Now Lawrence breaks it quickly.
And that's the problem. Creighton's not a pressing team. They very rarely pick up full court, so it's hard for them to climb out of deficits.
Hoiberg around Trout. What a game for Sam Hoiberg.
His decision-making on when to be aggressive has been perfect tonight. When to shoot it, when to drive it. Again, we talk about that role. He understands it.
Hoiberg's got 12 points. Tied with the most with Rink Mass. 3 for Swartz, rattles in and out, and a foul underneath the basket. That's on Lawrence. That's his 4th. So he's in some serious foul trouble now.
Lawrence will check out. Price Sanford into the game now.
Swartz, catch and shoot, fading away, knocks it down. That's a tough bucket for Swartz.
Swartz has been aggressive. He's taken the most shots on this Creighton team. He's got 11 field goal attempts. The next closest is 7 from Nick Graves.
Now Swartz has 11 points. That leads the Blue Jays. He's been cold from distance like the rest of the team, 1 for 5, but he's 5 for 11 overall. Foul on Zujic. Huskers up by 17. 8.5 to play.
Huskers ball.
Mass for 3. He's setting sail and leading the way. Rick Mass is having himself a career afternoon in Lincoln.
Is he the 5-man or is he the shooting guard?
He's everything. He is. He's everything. 15 points for Rink Mass. And he's now hit 3 from distance. Davis nearly lost it. Under 10 on the shot clock. Swartz again hits a mid-range jumper for Swartz, who's been a bright spot for Creighton.
But he's been the most active. He's moved without the ball. He's caught the ball with an attack mentality.
Matt thought about it. That was basically from western Nebraska on the court. And the way he's been playing today, he can just about hit it from wherever Herbie is. Swartz stays aggressive. Buchtenjo gets another rebound to extend his career high. No, they're not going to let Mass get any space anymore.
No, he's showing that you better be there on the catch.
Now Buchtenjo steps back, in and out. Foot might have been on the line anyway. Under 7 minutes to play in Lincoln. Prager reaches in. He gets called for the foul. The Blue Jays have started hitting some more shots, but Nick, it has still been all Nebraska and Rick Mass.
Just a simple little pen down off the sideline out of bounds, and Rick Mass knows what to do with it. Best player on the floor has the Big Red rolling. Welcome back to Lincoln, where Sam Hoiberg has slowly but surely put his fingerprints all over this game. 12 points, and I just think his decision-making on when to attack and when not to has been excellent. He hasn't taken the bait to take long-range jumpers. He's had a downhill mentality, but when they've dared him and he's been in rhythm, he stepped up and shot it with confidence. Sam Hoiberg, the glue guy, doing it all.
It's got to be fun for his dad, Fred, to watch his son ball out like this, and also his brother, Charlie, who's a graduate manager. And that is a family affair for the Huskers.
The other thing with Sam, he's been the primary defender on Josh Dix. Now, there's been switching and rotating, so it's not like Sam's been on him the whole game, but he got the party started in saying, Josh Dix, your day is going to be a tough one. And that's the other part of Sam Hoiberg's role in this team. He guarded P.J. Haggerty down the stretch. He's their perimeter lockdown defender.
12 points for Sam Hoiberg on 5 of 9 shooting. He's also got 3 rebounds and 4 assists. It has been an all-around day for the senior guard. Now he gives it up. Sanford for 3, cashes it. There's the dish from Hoiberg. The 3 from Sanford. What a duo.
That is such a quick release. That ball was caught at his shoulder and up immediately. But Sam Hoiberg, what an amazing play.
And the Blue Jays have had no answer for the Huskers offensively or defensively today. Dix tries to create some space, and he knocks down a 3. That's his second 3-pointer of the game. After a silent first half, Dix now has 8 points in the second half. Hoiberg directs, drives in, gives it up to Mast. One-on-one against Green. That was a little Kareem hook. He's on the watch list after all. Zukic in the corner. That's no good. An offensive rebound, though, for Creighton. To say it has been a poor 3-point shooting day is an understatement. To say that it has been an outstanding defensive day for Nebraska is also an understatement.
Just to invite a double team, really a triple team with the sideline there, and Rick Mass just takes it from him.
And now Hoiberg underneath. He finishes. He gets fouled. He's looking for a 3-point play. What an afternoon for Sam Hoiberg. The biggest game in the state, the biggest stage, and he has risen to the occasion.
Well, first on defense, just inviting that double. Rick Mass gets a piece of it, and then Sam Hoiberg, again, has really done a good job punching it and driving it. It just 2 things with Sam Hoiberg that's a lesson for everybody. Number 1, strength matters. He's strong. I look at him. That guy plays to his strength because he's been in the weight room. The other thing is, it's amazing what happens when you don't worry about scoring. He isn't worried about scoring. He's worried about doing all the little things and making the right play. And it's funny how in basketball, when that's your mindset, shots and opportunities can find you.
That's now 15 for Hoiberg. And the Huskers are back up by 21. Zukic in the corner, and he rings it home.
Not as many 3-point attempts in this second half for Creighton. That's only their 7th attempt after shooting north of 20 in the first half.
Not the easiest press break. Hoiberg gives it up. Sanford missed the 3. Mast underneath, puts it back, and he got fouled. Rick Mast again stands tall. It is all Nebraska in Lincoln today.
And give some credit to Braden Frager for keeping that thing alive. That's a part of his role. Look at him crashing number 5. He gets into the body of Green. He just gets a paw on it so Rick Mast can come and clean it up. That's a good play from Frager, and Rink Mass doing what he does best, that's scoring. And you can see Creighton's trying some different things. They're trying some 1-3-1 zone just to change up some things defensively, and Nebraska's had the answer.
Big ovation for Sam Hoiberg coming off the floor. He's got everybody on their feet. And Jamarcus Lawrence, who's got 4 fouls, comes back onto the court. Mass finishes the three-point play. He's got a game-high 18 points. Dix, quick trigger. That's no good. The theme of the day for Creighton.
Cole, 6 of 29 from 3 are the Blue Jays. Beautiful.
Mass, what a spin. Got fouled. The Creighton just does not have an answer for Rink Mass, for Sam Hoiberg, or anything else. It has been all Nebraska this afternoon, 64-43. You can understand why they look like that inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. Stack Comparison sponsored by Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. 64-43. Nebraska's in control. They've really been in control from the beginning of this game. The three-point shooting is still the biggest difference.
Yeah, if you would have shown me the three-point shooting before the game, I'd have told you who wins the game, and that's held true here. Nebraska shot it better, and Creighton has been ice cold, in particular in that first half, as the Blue Jays were 3 of 21. But you got to tip your cap to Nebraska in all facets. They've played harder, they've been more connected, and this guy's been the best player on the floor.
And with another free throw, he'll hit the 20-point plateau today. Goes along with 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And he's been perfect from the strike, 5 for 5 now.
I was worried about Nebraska's athleticism from a playmaking standpoint off the bench when I look at their roster, but Rink Mass has been able to cover that up. And he's the guy that unlocks everything for this offense.
Now, there's no question that this has been an impressive showing from Nebraska. Though this is a team that came in 8-0. They have not been beaten. There's a reason for that. It doesn't mean it's been smooth sailing for them this season. And McDermott's not happy about that last call on the floor. That's a 4th foul on Green.
Paul Sells was close to giving Coach McDermott one there. Coach Mack didn't agree with the moving screen, but it sent a Husker to the ground. No, but to your point, Jake, it's Nebraska's 8-0, but they've had to grind over USC Upstate, had to grind over Winthrop. There's been some games they've had to find a way. As another take from Bryce Sanford. I'm going to say it again so you can get it. He has shown that if you run him off the three-point line, which is what the scouting report is, he can make you pay. A year ago, he would have stopped and shot a mid-range. This year, he's able to get all the way to the basket and finish. So even though he's a shooter, he knows how to get to the basket and get it down.
And it has been and one after and one after and one for Nebraska over the last 5 minutes. First it was Hoiberg, then it was Mast, now it's Sanford. And he completes the three-point play just like his 2 teammates. 13 points for Bryce Sanford. And he's only hit 2 threes.
Just his gravity, though, on the floor. You have to account for him. You have to be attached to him. So even if he's not making shots, he's making an impact.
Crowd in the corner, another miss. He was 1 for 5 from 3 in the first half. And Creighton is now 6 for 30 in the game.
This might be one of those just burn the tape kind of a game for the Creighton coaching staff. Ooh.
Josh Dix landed right on his elbow there. It's interesting, the Creighton looks, it's been a mixed bag. There have been some highly contested, but that last one from Trout, wasn't the worst look in the corner. None of the corner threes have fallen, really.
I thought early on their looks were forced and contested, and I think it just got them off to a slower start. They got some guys not feeling like they were in a good rhythm and a flow. I didn't think they took the right shots early. It's been a mixed bag. I mean, there's been a lot of the 33s they've attempted. There's been a lot of open ones, but some of them have been a little contested and not off of great ball and body movement.
Hicks goes 1 for 2 at the line. The Blue Jays were only held to 19 points in the first half. Fewest that Nebraska has allowed in a half this season. Fewest that Creighton has scored in a half this season. And that really set the tone for what we've seen in the second half, where the Huskers have maintained the pressure and maintained the gas.
Bearcat Buchengel twice has sealed off that help defense that freed up Sanford for an and-one, and there just opening up the door for Jacobson to hit it with that left hand.
His first 2 points, so he gets into the box score.
What a day for Nebraska.
They're up by 27, largest lead of the day. That is not a gap that really anybody saw coming. The Huskers are well on their way to winning a second straight in his rivalry matchup. Impressive second half for Austin Schwartz.
If you want to find bright spots, he's probably been one of them. Schwartz has looked comfortable and confident. And with Hudson Greer's foot injury, probably going to be some more opportunities for him here over the next handful of games.
That's 16 for Schwartz, a new career high. Mass for 3. That's short. Would have been quite the exclamation point on his day. Foul on Buchengel. And so Davis, a fellow number 9, heads to the line. So Creighton has K-State coming up. Then on the road against Xavier, Big East play begins. Right into the teeth with Marquette and Butler not too long after that. Rick Mass comes off the floor with a fist pump and a great ovation, one that's well deserved.
Absolutely. Best player on the floor, did a little bit of everything. Again, he is the catalyst for everything Nebraska does offensively.
Leo Curtis getting his first minutes and immediately picks up right where the rest of his team left off with the defensive tenacity. It has been consistent up and down the roster for Fred Hoiberg today. And that is what is helping Nebraska take down their rival. First time that the home team has won this rivalry game since 2020. Get this, Nick. First time that Nebraska has beaten Creighton back-to-back seasons in almost 30 years.
That's an incredible thing to let sink in.
A lot of juggling out of bounds, and it goes Nebraska's way. So the last time Nebraska beat Creighton back-to-back seasons, 95-96, 96-97. Wow.
It's a long time. Wow. It's about to be a gauntlet for two games here for Nebraska. Wisconsin, big win yesterday over Providence. Illinois on the road in Champaign, but I think the Husker fans going to sip some champagne after this one, given how their Huskers look.
I see what you did there. Sip champagne before worrying about champagne. Yeah, that's well done. Well played. Well played. Freeman misses both. One last frenzy for Big Red inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers off to their best start in nearly 50 years. Undefeated at 8-0 entering play today. Something that hasn't happened since 1977, the first year this rivalry began being played annually. And what a statement Fred Hoiberg's group has made today.
It's a game that means a lot to a lot of people in this state. And Fred Hoiberg had his group ready to roll. You said it. It was a total team effort.
Final seconds in Lincoln. Big Red with a big win, 71-50. Nebraska defends its home floor and takes down the Creighton Blue Jays to stay undefeated.
But Jake, I thought you put it perfectly. Everybody impacted this game one way or another. 3 players in double figures, which you get some great impact performances from even guys like Berke Buchtengel on the glass, 13 rebounds. Sam Hoiberg was terrific. A rink mass, it was just too much of that guy and his versatility. Heck of a win for Nebraska.
An all-around win for the Huskers. Some questions for the Blue Jays. The 59th installment of this rivalry in the books. Thanks for joining us in Lincoln today. For our entire crew and for Nick Bob, I'm Jake Eisenberg. So long from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nebraska 71, Creighton 50.